Get on your grind, Shorty K.
I gave them something to believe in, you know they ain't believe it. Tried to show them the vision, they ain't zoom in to see it. Told them about these heights, they said it's too high to reach it. And that had me feeling like Mike, I told them you gotta beat it. See, it's diamonds in your soul, but you gotta dig a lot deeper. See, all of our minds been exposed, but I've been changing the frequency. Sending my prayers and affirmations, way, way past where them eagles be. What I learned in my returns is not all things you need to see. You gotta feel it, the negative talk, the negative thoughts, and you gotta kill it. I know that it's hard and it leaves scars and it ain't appealing, but you gotta heal it. There's lessons in every little layer, but you gotta peel it. Cause the best way to get some air is removing your ceiling. Look, trust me, I know cause I did it. Hit rock bottom, looked around like damn, what the fuck I do with it? I remembered the levels and picked up my shovel and I started digging and digging and digging until I got dizzy. And trust me, the spirit been busy. I'm back and I'm paid and I'm busy, so feel like I'm acting the way that you get it. This is for back in the day when they just shit it. I gave them something to believe in, you know they ain't believe it. Tried to show them the vision, they ain't zoom in to see it. Told them about these heights, they said it's too high to reach it. And that had me feeling like Mike, I told them you gotta beat it.
Yeah, Zersky, peace, love, and light. It's the God, Lord Christopher, man, and I'm back with another download straight from the cosmos. Remember, someone has to see your greatness. Why not start with yourself? Stay blessed. Always finesse. Definitely trust the Most High's process. The truest keys to success. Hey, look, we finally back, man. We finally back. I had to do a couple of upgrades. I was having a little bit of issues with the internet, but we good. We good. You feel me? You know, this streaming and this podcasting is not for the weak. I promise you that. You know, we gonna go through some trials. We're gonna go through some tribulations, but we gonna always get it done. That's what we do, and that's how we gonna do it. And look, man, this is the first podcast straight off of my birthday. My birthday was on Monday. I turned 34. Very, very blessed day. You know, I had an amazing time with my wife. We went out to eat, we laughed, we joked. I didn't want to spend it, you know, with a lot of people. This one was very intimate and personal to me. So, you know, I just spent the whole day just relaxing, meditating, praying, and just, you know, being in the best space that I can be possible so that I can, you know, come back refreshed and elevated and more wiser. You feel me? 34 hits different. You know, I don't let nobody tell you that it doesn't. 34 definitely hits different. And I believe that we are in, you know, or I believe that I'm in a time or in a space to where it's just, you know, I'm more focused, I'm more disciplined. I want more laughter and love around, and it's no more room for drama, there's no more room for negativity, any of that. You know, there's no more room for a lack of believing in self, a lack of, not, walking the path or the journey of just being strong, being abundant, right? So we're leaving all that behind and we're stepping into a new year. My new year started on December 11th. You feel me? I don't wait till January 1st and all of these resolutions. My boy, shout out to Super. You know, he shed some light, man. He's like, this is your new year. You feel me? Like, everybody has a different new year. Everybody's new year is actually on their birthday, and that makes so much sense. It makes so much, logical sense. So I'm in my new year. I feel refreshed. You feel me? Then God said, let thy be him. You know what I'm saying? That's the proverb. SYG 555. You feel me? So that's where I'm at with it. And I appreciate all the birthday wishes. I appreciate everybody who tapped in with me and just gave me some just kind words, just put more love and life and light into me. a lot of energy. So I felt it. You feel me? I felt it. And this is where we're at with it now. Also thank everybody for bearing with me. I was supposed to record this on Tuesday, but again, I was having just a lot of technical difficulties, and I didn't want to come back up here until I got that issue resolved. You feel me? Y'all like the background? Y'all rocking with the background now? You feel me? I got wifey bought me that smart cube right here. It changes colors and things of that nature. I got the sparkles in the back. You feel me? It's just a lot going on. It's just a lot going on. Before I even get started, man, let me see if y'all can actually see this, because I got a message of the week for y'all. Let me see. I don't think y'all will be able to see that back there. But basically, the message of the week, man, do it now. Do it now. You feel me? Do it now. And wifey wrote one day at a time. Do it now, one day at a time. Don't wait. Time waits and life waits for no man. You feel me? We all are on a temporary time. So while you're here, man, make sure you get out, get up, get out and do something. You feel me? Spread your energy in the places that it's needed, right? And just continue to be a blessing, not only to yourself, not only to others, but to just the world, man. To God. You feel me? She source put you here for a reason. So you need to embrace that. So I'm not gonna keep rambling, man. We're gonna go ahead and get into the podcast of the day. So let's go ahead and go over the disclaimer. You feel me? Remember, the vibes here at SYG Studios are to motivate, educate, and enlighten our people to achieve greatness through seeking new ways to invest in themselves. Everything is high level: what we think, what we say, how we feel, and definitely how we act. But but before we even get into the energy, take the time to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love engagement over here, and understand that a village pushes the trend, not just one individual. The support is much appreciated. Also, take the time, family, to go ahead and visit the link. Go ahead and visit this link. What that allows you to do, it allows you to join the SYG community, right? On all social platforms. I'm on Discord, I'm on Fanbase, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, of course. It'll allow you to do one-on-one consultations with me. You can actually hit this link and add me to your contacts. Add me to your contacts, and that'll allow me to, send you personable messages. It'll allow you to tap in with me with new things to come. And it'll also allow you guys to ask me questions or bring up topics that you would want me to present on the podcast. Or you can tap in with me if you want to be a guest on the podcast, right? If you want to be a guest on the podcast as well. And anybody interested in coming on even tonight, right? To do Q&A questions or to express how, the message of the day, how you received it, more than welcome as well. Okay. Our aim is not only to grow the legacy, but reach at least 500,000 individuals. I got big goals. You feel 500,000 individuals who want, need, and are seeking the knowledge to live a more abundant life. Now, with all the information being provided, I do have to continue sending out this quick disclaimer. Please take the time to do your own research, family. It's very, very vital. My content is intended to be used for motivational and educational purposes only. Always do your own analysis based on your own current circumstances. Now, this is my favorite part. We're going to all come together. We're going to have a little meditation before we kick this thing off so that we can be in a space to receive, the message, and allow me to be in the space to be able to convey the message to you. So we're going to inhale peace on 3, and then we're going to exhale to receive growth and ultimately see our greatness. So let's go ahead and kick into it. On the count of 3, we're going to go ahead and inhale peace, and then we're going to exhale at your own leisure. You feel me? When you feel comfortable. And we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of today, or topics of the day. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it's time to see your greatness, family. Now it's time to see your greatness. Here is what we are learning and tapping into today. Today is episode 51 of the See Your Greatness podcast, right? And today's topic is mind power is God power. But before we even get into that, let's go ahead and explain the other things that we're also going to talk about too. FinCEN, and the new Corporate Transparency Act. Especially how it correlates to like small businesses. That's going to be a topic of the day. And then we're going to also talk about Shatilia Riley Irving, who is Kyrie Irving's agent. She's actually the first Black NBA agent woman, right? So that's huge. Of the all even um organization, right? Then we're gonna go over thought provoking questions, 100 days of thought provoking questions that I ask individuals on how they just navigate through life and how they utilize their craft or the things that they learned over time to impact themselves and others, right? And then we're gonna get out of here with words of wisdom, right? So today again is episode 51. Mind power is God power, and the season that we're in is the final quarter, right? The final quarter, it just means that you need to prepare yourself for your new year. I've been preparing myself all year for my new year. And I feel very energetic. I feel fueled up. I feel that it's time for me to go ahead and start getting structured. We are going into a new year. As far as the Gregorian calendar, right? 2024. Now in numerology, that equals up to the number 8, and all numbers have a significant, meaning behind them, or it's symbolic for something, right? So this year was the God year, right? Or the revelation of truth, as all you guys can see is just look around and see what has been transpiring within the world. Well, we're going into next year, which is number 8, and that's the build and destroy year, right? A lot of constructs, a lot of individuals, right? You're gonna have to go through a stage of destroying your soil so that you can plant new life. So we're going into a build and destroy year, and I thought it was very, very perfect to talk again about this topic that I wanted to present, which is mind power is God power, and the power of thought, right? Now the reason I wanted to talk about this is because every day I start my rising routine with just positive affirmations, and just good word, right? And I was listening to a I was listening to a lecture by an individual by the name of Reverend Ike, right? Very dope preacher, right? Teacher, right? He does teach in about the Bible. However, he teaches it more in a metaphysical way that everybody can relate. He relates it more to the universe. He relates it more to, you know, what we've been taught, if that makes sense. Like he goes in depth with it on how these stories within these books relate to how you should move as an individual as well. So he was talking about, again, mind power being God power, but it was the message of, is what you are fascinated by ruining your life, right? Or is it empowering your life, right? The things that you're fascinated by, like for instance, if you're always fascinated with gossip, you'll always be a gossiper. If you're always fascinated with drama, you'll always be in drama. If you're fascinated with those who are in a mindset of thinking rich, then you'll also become that. It's basically stating that whatever you're fascinated by, it will consume you and you will become that thing. So I wanted to actually, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I wanted to present this video to you guys so you can get a clearer understanding of what I'm trying to say, and also what he was stating when it comes to just utilizing your mind in the best form possible when you are just trying to elevate yourself. So let me go ahead,
agencies,
get it going.
where creative freedom
Skip this. All right, let me start it over.
You know, the stuff that I use will work for anybody that will work with it. It'll work anywhere. It will work on the streets of New York City. Sometimes the press will ask me, Reverend Ike, what is this stuff that you use? Sometimes I simply call it mind power. Let me hear you say mind power.
Mind power.
And here again, I'm always reminding you that mind power is God power. Say that with me. Mind power
is God power.
There's no difference. So this is not something that you've never heard about before. You may not have heard it in this way. Visiting with us today is a young man from Los Angeles, California, who's going to come to the podium in just a moment. I first noticed this young man before I knew who he was, because a couple of times I saw a young man floating down the streets in Beverly Hills and Hollywood in a very beautiful regal red and black Rolls Royce. And of course, you know that I have a weakness for Rolls Royces.
Word.
And so I noticed this very beautiful Rolls Royce several times on the streets of Beverly Hills and Los Angeles. And I said, I don't know who's driving that car, but it must be a very self-directed person. It must be a very successful and prosperous person. And here again, successful, prosperous people have always interested me. Successful, prosperous people have always fascinated me. And I'm going to repeat to you again some words which I gave you at the money conditioning meeting on Friday night, and they will bless you here on television. You will become whatever you're fascinated with. You always become whatever you're fascinated with. And here again, this is the law of mind. If you become fascinated by poverty, you become poor. You become fascinated with sickness and the reports of all kinds of diseases, you will become sick. Whatever you become fascinated with, you'll get it and it'll get you. This is the law of mind, and it works with anything. So do not become fascinated with what you do not want. If you want to be wealthy, become fascinated with wealth. Become fascinated with wealthy people. If you want to be successful and prosperous, become fascinated with successful, prosperous people. And I've always been fascinated with successful, prosperous people. Go to your library, read about successful people. Read about prosperous people. When you read the newspaper, skip over the news about the recession and the depression and read about somebody who just made millions and millions.
Right. Big fact.
Instead of becoming so caught up in this idea of economic cutback, become fascinated with those people who are still living well and enjoying the joy of living. So back to this young man who's coming now to speak to us for a moment, and I with him. I was fascinated because he appeared successful and prosperous. And I got to meet him, and he became one of my associates in Los Angeles at my series of teaching meetings. Let's welcome now Mr. Tom Cross of Los Angeles. Give him a great big New York welcome. Good to have you in New York.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Cross here is president and founder of Crosstrack, which is an entertainment advertising agency in Los Angeles. And girls, he is single and free game. Tom, sometimes I really wonder if you work, because you have so much leisure time. And that's wonderful, because, you know, it goes to show you that you don't really have to indulge in the drudgery of life to be successful and prosperous. But I know that he has his business because I've been there, you know. But like me, he has learned how to use his mind. And you know what I say, and I hope that this can get on television, the more you learn to work your mind, the less you have to work your behind.
Fact. Big fact.
Now, cross-track your organization. Exactly what does it do?
Well, we produce radio commercials for the entertainment industry. When I say entertainment industry, we're speaking in terms of movies and record companies. Record companies primarily, because it's a very highly specialized type of business. What I do, I write, produce, assemble, and I voice commercials as well. And we've had some very successful commercial campaigns. And the reason why I think we're successful is because I can do, or we can do, commercials a lot less than the average advertising agency. We can, in turn, save the record company a great deal of money. Companies are interested in saving money, regardless of how much they make, how constant their income. They're concerned very much on saving money. There's one company in particular, I think last year they grossed something like $33.5 million. And they were very much interested in saving money, and this is where I came in.
And you do business with them?
A great deal of business. They're having 46 album releases this year, and we're doing all the commercials on them. All of them.
I'm not going to tell you how old this young man is exactly, but he's still in his 20s.
You're kind.
And talking about here, a good example of self-direction. And this is a part of what this ministry teaches, self-direction. Also, this young man for several years was a leading disc jockey in Los Angeles on one of the leading Los Angeles stations. But he has made it so big, and he is making so much money with all of the big multi-million-dollar companies, little of which he just let out of the bag a moment ago, that he is no longer doing DJ work. He is just dealing with the multi-million-dollar companies. I asked him to be here in New York with us today as an example of a young man who has found his own self-direction, his own self-sufficiency, his own self-discipline. And in finding it, he has gone beyond dependency. You know, there are too many people in a state of dependency today. People who have the attitude that the world owes me a living. Let me tell you something, nobody owes you anything but you. And the only worthwhile thing that you're really ever going to get is what you give yourself by means of working with the presence of God in you. This young man, Tom Cross, could have taken an attitude like myself. He came from the South, born and raised in the South. He could have said, he could have been sitting on a log along with me somewhere in the South saying, poor black me. I'll just depend on society. But this young man found his own self-direction. And I like having him for a friend because, very frankly, to tell you the truth, I like to have rich friends.
I hear you. I hear you.
It really feels good. Tom, I want to thank you especially also for helping me in an associate position in our ministry there in Los Angeles at the session of classes which I've just concluded. And since you've been around this ministry for a bit now, do you get anything out of it?
I've gotten quite a bit out of it. Excuse me. Let me say that I've been what I am or who I am all along. What the Reverend has done for me in particular, to be honest with you, he's provided a definition. I can remember some time ago when I was a television cameraman at a station in Rockford, Illinois. I started off as a cameraman, graduated to audio engineering, and then I outgrew that market of 80,000 people, and I moved to Kansas City. But to make a long story short, what I did, being a cameraman, was my job to position the props. And this particular prop was a Rolls Royce, and we were doing a commercial for a federal savings and loan company in Rockford, Illinois. And I had the opportunity to position the rolls, also position the lighting and spray the dulling spray and what have you on it to keep it from shining, the whole bit. And just sitting inside of the car, I imagined myself with one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which,
that
the
imagination,
point is,
man.
I imagined it and I thought about it, and I says, I can see myself driving one, but I never really knew the real meaning of it. So what the meaning of that is visualization, but I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that I could see myself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Because as he indicated, you know, we are always working with mind.
Right.
Remember that. You're always working with mind. And let's put this in the first person together. I am always working with mind. Together again.
I am always working with mind.
You're always working with mind, even if you do not know the science of it. But you see, it is good when we know the science of mind, our mind science, however you want to brand it. And so Tom has just given us an example of what has helped him to achieve some of his success, and one of the things that he wanted. You know, many times when people see wealth and riches, they don't identify themselves with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will see other wealthy people and other representations of material wealth, and they will say, well, that's for them. That's for the rich people. But this young man, when he saw that Rolls Royce while he was a cameraman, and he had to fix it as a prop, he didn't simply say, well, this is somebody else's Rolls Royce. He sat in it, and as Reverend Ike would say, he got full of the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And in his heart, he said, I can see myself with a Rolls Royce.
Right.
I can see myself on this style of living. And remember, one of the greatest lessons in mind science ever taught is taught by Flip Wilson, the comic. What you see is what you get.
I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. But that's powerful, right? That's very, very powerful, because again, it just shows you how powerful your mind is. Whatever you can see or visualize within your mind, you can bring it into a realization state. That's how all of these things within the world have been created, whether it's the cell phone, this microphone I'm talking on, the computer I'm using. All of this had to come out of someone's mind power first. They had to go through different doors and gateways within their mind to try to figure out, how can I bring this to the world, right? And like he stated, he was a cameraman, right? Now he's a multi-millionaire, right? And he was at a point to where he was doing props in a Rolls Royce for somebody. And when he sat down in it, he started to see himself with it already. We have the ability to do the exact same thing for anything that we want to achieve in life. You feel what I'm saying? We have the ability to do that, family. So I wanted to bring this to you guys and, spark conversation and to help you see within yourself that you are the master of your life, right? You are the captain of your soul, right? You have the ability to create all of these things that you so heartily desire. So mind power is God power. Try to find ways to strengthen that, right? He said self-direction, self-efficiency, and self-discipline was key, right? And visualization brought upon realization for him. And what I did, I also went to jot down the top 5 tips that I would say that one should utilize when they're trying to become more, especially with their mind, right? One is practice mindfulness, right? Cultivate awareness of your thoughts and emotions to better understand and manage them. Number 2 was embrace continuous learning, right? Stimulate your mind by acquiring new knowledge and skills regularly, right? Fostering intellectual growth. Number 3 was positive affirmations. You got to get yourself out of a negative mind state. How do you do that? Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations to reshape your mindset and promote optimism. I am wealthy. I am grateful, right? I am successful. I am strengthened by all that source is giving me. I am thankful, right? For all for all the things that I have and that I've experienced. While, like, you have to preach these things into yourself. Like, you are your own preacher, right? So number 4, healthy lifestyle. Prioritize adequate sleep, nutrition, and regular exercises to support both your mental and physical well-being. I didn't know that, like, for instance, when you go out on a jog or when you go running, you're actually exercising your brain, you're exercising your mind, because you're literally putting yourself in a strenuous situation, though is beneficial to you. Working out's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that always feels good, but however, it does feel good because you know where it's taking you. You know how it's helping you. You know how it's elevating you, whether physical or mentally. Just even within myself, I see that when I work out more, I eat better and things of that nature. I have more clarity. I have more focus. Right? I'm able to analyze things and structure things together better than I would if I was just being lazy, not trying to attempt to strengthen my mind, my body, and my spirit, right? And last but not least, set purposeful goals. Define clear and achievable goals, aligning your actions with aspirations for a focused and purpose-driven mindset. You got to have purpose, right? You have to have a definite goal backed by a definite plan, right? That's what I learned from the book Think and Grow Rich. You have to have the definite purpose, right? A definite goal backed by a definite plan. If you don't have those things, it's going to be hard for you to accomplish all the things that you are trying to accomplish. And when you're trying to master your mind, when you're trying to mind your business, right? You have to put yourself in what I would call like the hyperbolic time chamber, man. You got to get with self, you got to sit with self, you got to learn self, you got to love self, you got to weed out the things that you don't like about self, start incorporating all the things that you do love about self, get around people that love you just as much as you love yourself. Like, all of these things, it takes work, but it is beneficial for you in strengthening your mind and getting you closer to that God body or that God energy or that God power that resides in all of us. All of us, some of us are just not able to see it. All of us are able to see it. All of us are able to see it if you allow yourself to. So again, mind power is God power, right? Because we didn't create the mind. Something higher than us that had a definite purpose, a definite plan, created it, right? It just allows us to utilize it to be a messenger. We're just here to convey messages on what we're trying or what sources wanting to portray to the masses, right? It's all on you whether you're listening or not, because you can become distracted. Your energy can become distracted, and your mind is energy. So if your mind is distracted, you'll start being a follower of so many other things rather than a follower of self. Like, a lot of individuals that I work with, right, in the mental health field, they struggle with following their own mind and realizing the power that they have within them. And that's where I come in to show them, like, yo, I've been here, I've done it, you can too. So I want y'all to take that with you, man. Mind power is God power. And I'm going to challenge you over this next 30 days, over this next, couple of weeks, man, just tap in with yourself. Learn how to, sit with yourself, meditate, do shadow work. Shadow work is like going down to the deepest parts of your soul, the pit of your soul, right? And just unsurfing or uncovering all of those things that has been hindering your growth. Deal with it, handle it, right? It's you. You control you, nothing else, right? So with that being said, man, get out here and do the work over this next couple of weeks as we go into again this new year, right? Do the work, man, so that you can become your best self. A lot of reasons that people's New Year's resolutions don't work is because they give up here mentally. Oh, it's too tough. Oh, I can't do it. Or you like, yo, you sometimes you have to even get beside yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I now understand what that scripture was when Jesus was like, Satan, get behind me. It's because a lot of emotions, a lot of thought, a lot of different things was trying to distract him when he was trying to meditate on the higher source to get a definite answer of what he's supposed to do. You got to do the exact same thing. You feel what I'm saying? Be the shepherd of your own life instead of being the sheep. So that's my power is God power, y'all. My power is God power. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing of the day. And this is an article that I want to present to y'all that I felt was pretty dope. This is Kyrie Irving's stepmom, right? Let me see who's coming up. Kyrie Irving's stepmom, who is also Kyrie Irving's agent. I'm sorry if I, butcher your name. Shatelia Riley Irving says once the NBA star retire, he plans to take over the family business, which is the all even business, right? Ahead of hanging up their jerseys, many pro athletes begin to create a plan for their lives outside of sports. Whether it's tapping into the VC space or following the entrepreneurial route, the mission for most is to continue building generational wealth once they decide to retire from their respective leagues. When the time comes for Kyrie Irving to part ways with the NBA, the star, his father, Drederick Irving, and stepmother, agent, and CEO of All Even Sports, Shatelia Riley Irving, have already carved out the next step in his career. An interview with Earn Your Leisure podcast, Shatelia provided a look into her journey as a Black woman agent in a male-dominated space. And let's actually go ahead and try to play this video. Oh, I don't want to play the whole hour worth.
There's no standing together. It's divided. Black people are the ones that's criticizing. Black community support Kyrie. You have prominent Black journalists that were on television publicly denouncing.
Nah, we're not gonna watch this.
There is a certain power.
Let's go ahead and pause that. But this interview was really, really dope. They were just discussing everything that Kyrie has been through and things of that nature, and how he had to rebrand himself, and how he's just a what we call a trailblazer, man. You know what I'm saying? He's along the lines of people that I will look up to, like the Muhammad Ali's and things of that nature, who are in sports, but they also are able to speak their mind about issues that are happening worldwide. They are more than basketball players. They're human beings. They're gods themselves. They have a spirit, a mind, and a body to do other things outside of just play sports. So this interview, she was just highlighting a lot of that, and also highlighting how she is, again, the first Black woman NBA agent. And that's really, really dope. As previously reported by Afrotech in 2022, it was announced that she was Irving's agent, reportedly making her the only Black female agent representing an active NBA player at the time. It appears she was only getting started. During the interview, she shared that she plans to continue getting her feet wet in the industry. In the next 2 to 3 years, the goal is to bring on new clients and manage $1 billion in deals. I love it. Shatelia also shared that she and Irving's father, who is Chief Financial Officer or CFO on All Even Sports, plan to pass the family business to Irving whenever he decides to retire from basketball. Once Kyrie's done, this is her quote, "Once Kyrie's done, the goal would be to pass it on to him." Shatelia said on Earn Your Leisure, "I can retire, his dad can retire, and we can run around and act like we're 20-something years old. That's the goal, because I think at some point Kyrie would have enough experience to really be an agent of change for players coming into the industry. In the same interview, Chatelier recalled advising Irving to not create an independent shoe brand after losing his deal with Nike, as previously shared by Afrotech. We took the time to figure out what we really wanted in a shoe deal. It was creativity, price point, quality products, and a host of other things, she said. We started to have the conversations with Anta and a few other companies. It was really about us creating our own contract, because we didn't want something that was really a traditional contract where it was like you just get royalties, base commission, and then you walk away. She continued, we wanted something that had a lot more ownership for us, because we knew that once we put Kyrie in the lab, we knew what he was going to create at the end of the day. Excuse me. We wanted something that gave us real equity, and that's the name of the game right there. From what I'm learning, this right here, equity, man, equity, having ownership, and I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the definition of that for those who do need it. Why? I ain't going that one. I said equity. Look up equity, right? For those who don't know what equity is, equity, the quality of being fair and impartial. Fairness, again, it's just being fair. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I think this is very mind power is God power. You feel what I'm saying? Realizing that you are worth more than what people tell you, or they try to box you in to be, right? Now on the other flip side, let's go over some things that are going to impact a lot of small businesses, right? And this is this Corporate Transparency Act that has just been presented by the Biden administration. I always want to be in our business, but it's cool. We're going to do what we need to do, right? So the Corporate Transparency Act, beneficial ownership reporting requirements for small and medium businesses, is becoming effective in January. And this is very, very important, because there are a lot of other things that are going to take place for those who do not do what you need to do, right? The Financial Crimes Enforcement, or FinCEN, right? Network final rule implementing the Corporate Transparency Act's beneficial ownership information reporting requirements will become effective on January 1st, 2024. Small and medium businesses should prepare for compliance with the requirements. On January 21st, 2021, the Corporate Transparency Act, CTA, was enacted into federal law in the United States. The CTA directs the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, a borough of the U.S. Department of the Treasury and the U.S. Financial Intelligence Unit, to establish a national registry of beneficial ownership information, or BOI, for the beneficial owners of most entities created or registered to do business in the United States, reporting companies. The CTA is primarily an anti-money laundering law to fight against bad actors that seek to use anonymous shell companies to facilitate money laundering, financing of terrorism, tax fraud, and other illegal acts, even though they're the ones doing this. Those things. On September 30th, 2022, FinCEN published a final rule that implements the CTA's BOI reporting requirements. Final rule. The final rule requires reporting companies to disclose certain personal information of each beneficial owner and company applicant to FinCEN. The effective date of the final rule is January 1st, 2024. We prepared a comprehensive overview of the CTA's implementing regulations available in previous report. Key takeaways of the CTA and the final rule are detailed below. So, what's a reporting company? Reporting companies are bifurcated between domestic reporting companies and foreign reporting companies. A domestic reporting company is an entity that is a corporation, a limited liability company, or LLC, or created by the filing of a document with the Secretary of State of any similar office under the law of a state or American Indian tribe. A foreign reporting company is an entity that is a corporation, a LLC, or other entity formed under the law of a foreign country and registered to do business in any state or tribal jurisdiction by the filing of a document with the Secretary of State or any similar office under the law of a state or American Indian tribe. So these are the key dates for these things, right? You got existing companies, reporting companies created on or registered before January 1st, 2024 must file their initial BOI reports by January 1st, 2025. So you have to file by January 1st, 2025. Now, new companies, reporting companies created or registered on or after January 1st, 2024 must file their initial reports if created or registered in the calendar year 2024 within 90 calendar days, or if created or registered thereafter within 30 calendar days. In each case of the earlier of the date on which it receives actual notice that its creation has become effective in the case of domestic reporting companies, or it has been registered to do business in the case of foreign reporting companies, or the date on which a Secretary of State or similar office first provides public notice. Whose information must be reported? Now, this is important. Reporting companies must disclose a certain personal information of each beneficial owner and company applying to FinCEN. A beneficial owner is any individual who exercises substantial control over the reporting company or who owns or controls a 25% ownership interest in the reporting company. Both terms are further defined in the final rule. A company applicant is any individual who directly files the document that creates the domestic reporting company or registers the foreign reporting company, and the individual who is primarily responsible for directing or controlling such filing if more than one individual is involved in the filing. What information is reported? Reporting company information. Required disclosures include legal name, trade name, business address, jurisdiction information, and U.S. Internal Revenue Service taxpayer identification number. So it's almost like your social security number for your business. Your beneficial owners and company applicant information are required. Disclosures include legal name, date of birth, current address, and an identification document with a unique identifier number, like a passport. Are there any exemptions if you are asking to reporting? The CTA in the final rule contain 23 exemptions for certain types of entities. The types of entities exempted generally include a range of entities regulated in the United States. Certain participants in the investment funds industry, tax-exempt entities, large operating companies, and subsidiaries of certain exempt entities, among others. Large operating company exemption. The large operating company exemption may exempt certain small and medium businesses or operating companies if certain thresholds are met. To qualify as a large operating company, any entity is exempt from the reporting requirements that employs more than 20 full-time employees in the United States, has an operating presence at a physical office within the United States, and filed a federal income tax or information return in the United States for the previous year, demonstrating more than $5 million in gross receipts or sales, excluding gross receipts or sales from sources outside of the United States. Subsidiary exemption. The subsidiary exemption exempts certain subsidiaries of entities otherwise exempt from the reporting requirements if structured correctly. Any entity whose ownership interests are controlled or wholly owned directly or indirectly by one or more exempt entities, except for subsidiaries of certain entities, is exempt from reporting requirements. What happens if reports are not filed? Now, this is very, very important. Reporting violations, false reporting, or failure to report can lead to civil or criminal penalties for a reporting company and certain individuals associated with it. The foregoing highlights are not an exhaustive discussion of the details surrounding the application of the CTA and the final rule and their accompanying compliance obligations. Further, FinCEN still needs to finalize additional rulemakings as discussed in January 11th and January 31st law flash regarding the form that will be used to submit information, who may receive access to BOI information and for what purposes, and safeguards required to protect BOI in accordance with the CTA's strict security and confidentiality requirements. In addition, FinCEN must amend the customer due diligence requirements of financial institutions to conform them with the requirements of the CTA and the final rule and develop the infrastructure to administer the final rules reporting requirements. CTA implications on small and medium businesses and operating companies. Unless subject to an exemption, every new LLC, limited partnership, limited liability partnership, corporation, or other business entities will have a filing obligation with FinCEN. This will capture the vast majority of small and medium businesses in the United States, and it will be incumbent on persons to track their various business organizations and ensure that reports are filed with FinCEN in a timely manner. In addition, as small and medium companies grow and expand their business lines, they will need to be mindful to update FinCEN with any changes, including new owners over threshold, new investors, and any new business lines operating under a different trade or DBA name. Notably, in the final rule, FinCEN made clear that responsibility for the accuracy of the information rests on the reporting company itself. New entity compliance considerations. Small or medium businesses that do not anticipate that an exemption will apply to their business may consider forming new entities before the January 1st, 2024 effective date. In doing so, the newly formed entity will have until January 1st, 2025 before compliance with the CTA is required. A small or medium business may also elect to restructure to qualify for the large operating company or subsidiary exemptions. Future state developments. Similar to the CTA, certain states have begun to pass or propose statutes that in certain ways mirror the federal provisions in order to create state-level databases of BOI. For example, of course, New York. For example, the New York State Legislature recently passed the LLC Transparency Act, which is awaiting Governor Kathy Hochul's signature. Under the New York LLC Transparency Act, both current and newly established LLCs will be required to disclose BOI information of its owners with the Department of State. However, unlike the CTA, which limits public access to the BOI information stored in its database, the New York bill will make the information largely available to the general public. California has followed suit and proposed its own version of the CTA, particularly aimed at corporations not formed in California or LLCs registered to do business in California to report BOI information with the Secretary of State. The proposed bill will require these companies to disclose BOI information to do business California or risk being guilty of a misdemeanor for non-compliance. Morgan Lewis will continue to monitor these state developments as they arise. Contacts. If you have any questions or would like more information on the issues discussed in the Law Flash, please reach out to your contact at Morgan Lewis, who can coordinate with the firm's Corporate Transparency Act Task Force to provide tailored advice. Please also visit our firm's research center for further information and insights on the U.S. Corporate Transparency Act. And these are the authors of that. Now, there was something that they actually didn't put in here as well. And this was something that I learned, that if you do not do this as well, you can also get up to I believe is if you get fined $500 per day that you do not report this information, up to $10,000. And even if you go beyond that and not pay the $10,000, you can do 2 years in prison or jail. And that's not something that, I'm not I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and do my due diligence and do what I need to do. However, I feel like this is whack. You feel what I'm saying? Why do we need more of this information? You have everything that you need, but what's happening is the what we call higher ups, they're doing bad business. So now they're trying to go back and backtrack and do the things that they need to do to ensure that their asses are covered, right? It's not the small businesses, it's not the medium businesses, it's those large corporations who are doing the dirty work, right? So that was something that I wanted to bring to y'all's attention for those who are, in the entrepreneurial space, or who are in the business space. Man, this is very, very important. This is very, very important, and you need to take heed to things like this before you get into business, because they don't play like this. The United States is ran off business. Everything is business. It has nothing to do with you. I'm gonna use my name. It has nothing to do with Christopher as the person. It has to do with Christopher's birth certificate, Christopher's social security card, Christopher's driver's license, things of that nature. They handle every situation on business principles. You know what I'm saying? And some, they have to move off the law of the universe, law of nature, and things of that nature. That's why, again, you see so many things that are happening within the world are being put in the forefront, whether it's within the news as propaganda, or whether it's within movies and things of that nature, like the movie that just came out. What is it? Leave the World Behind. Like, they have to put these different types of things in movies because they have to tell the truth as far as like what's going on behind the scenes. It's the law of the universe. It's the law of God. You feel me? These are different things that are in place for you to be able to operate properly without having consequences and repercussions. So, family, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here, but it's not crazy at the same time. You feel me? It's all in what you put your mind in, how you perceive it, right? And how you move forward with it. So I hope you guys gain some knowledge from that, and I hope you again take heed to that. Let's go ahead and jump into the last two segments of the day. We have thought-provoking questions, 100 days of thought-provoking questions, where I ask, again, the 1%, the 5%, the 10%, family, friends, any and all individuals who are in their respective spaces, their respective crafts, and I ask these questions on how they've gotten themselves to a point to feel great, at what they do, not even just at what they do, but feel great within themselves, right? So today is day 41 of 100 days of thought-provoking questions, and the question of the day is, how do you manage and maintain a positive mindset? How do you manage and maintain a positive mindset? For me, I'm gonna always go back to my A1 day one. Every day that I wake up, I mind my business. And what do I mean by that? I ensure that I handle me first before I get out here and I tackle the world and all of the energy that's going to be presented to me from there. So things that I do, I get up, I do a meditation and I got this from an individual. Shout out to Dr. B Serious, man. I really appreciate you. You have definitely helped me transform my life in many ways. But I get up and I do a visualization, and it was, you do a visualization of, you picture like a circle, right? Like at the bottom of your feet. This is before you even allow your feet to touch the ground. You visualize within this circle all the things that you want to, encompass or have for your day, right? Love, peace, discipline, focus, a rich mindset. You want to have like-minded individuals around you. You want to be able to, whether it's, monetarily, you want to be able to come into money, or whether it's spiritual, you want to be able to have a elevated spirit for the day. I put myself in that space, and after I've done that, I go work out. I do a particular it's a particular exercise that Dr. B Serious also taught me as well. And you have to do this, every single day. I believe he said for like 30 to 60 days. But there's a particular exercise that you do that helps relieve stress, but it more so helps relieve trauma. And I'll actually perform it. So he stated that right here holds a lot of trauma here, right here in the lower back, it holds a lot of trauma. And the only way that you can relieve it is by doing certain stretches and things of that nature, because we all have like different energy points or energy centers within us that hold certain things or do certain things. Some people believe like it's your organs, and some people believe it's just like, you know, alignment points, right? So there's a particular exercise where you stand like this, you put your hands behind your back like this, right? You got your hands behind your back like that. You put it below your back and you do like this. Now, what this is supposed to do is supposed to stretch this energy point back here that holds trauma, right? And the more and more that you do that exercise, you'll start to feel that trauma or that negative energy be released from you. And I've done it and it helps. It definitely helps. I know some of these things sometimes to people sounds very out of whack or like out of this world. However, we came from out of this world, right? Like we we came from out of this world. So, you know, a lot of things have been created that were once not there. So it's like, you know, instead of knocking it, just try it and see how it will help you, right? So I do that, meditate. I read, right? I read books that help elevate my mind. I listen to, again, a lot of the positive podcasts, getting out in nature, right? And just viewing nature as well. It puts a lot of peace inside your spirit, inside your being. And it, again, all of these things allows you to have a positive mindset. You know, I would love to hear any of your all suggestions or things that you do to maintain a positive mindset as well. But that's what I do. Those are the things that I do. You know, I meditate, put my little circle, stretch, let my wife know I love her, because that's a part of our daily thing. Like, she can't leave the house without giving me a kiss first. Period. That's just how it is. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, man. That's how I manage and maintain a positive mindset. You got to do the work. It just doesn't happen overnight. You have to do the work. I can't exhaust that enough. Now, let's go ahead, go into the last segment of the day, which is words of wisdom. This is really deep. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know y'all enjoyed it because I'm giving y'all some game. You feel me? I'm giving y'all some key things that you can go look into and research yourself. And I believe that, you know, it's beneficial for those who honestly want to elevate in life. So the word of or words of wisdom today is: the first and best victory is to conquer self. To be conquered by self is, of all things, the most shameful and vile. I'm going to repeat that again. The first and best victory is to conquer self. To be conquered by self is, of all things, the most shameful and vile. If you are unable to control yourself, if you are unable to, you know, get yourself to a point where you are responding instead of reacting, and you're able to center yourself and things of that nature, you know, it's honestly the best thing that you can do. Conquering yourself, right? Being able to put yourself in a state of mind of understanding yourself more than others do, right? So that when situations arise and things of that nature, you know how to rationalize and logically think it through, rather than just getting into that reptilian mindset of, you know, having no emotions or no thought process to things, and you're just doing it, right? And that leads to a multitude of other struggles and issues and just negative things that you do not need in your life, right? Like, you know, I'll speak for men, you know, not being able to control your manhood, right? Just out here, you know, constantly draining your energy to different women and things of that nature. You don't understand that, you're allowing your body to be your master, right? You're allowing the lower part of yourself to steer where you are going in life. And when I learned that this was my energy source, this was my energy point, I literally utilize this to bring life into existence. And when I withhold it, it actually allows me to become stronger, more focused. It regenerates my mind. It helps you heal quicker. Like when I started learning these things, I'm like, yo, like maybe I shouldn't be out here just, draining the main vein. You feel me? Just doing it because it feels good. Like a lot of things feel good, right? Reading a book feels good, right? Being around people who inspire you and love you and are just positive, that feels good, right? We don't always as men have to get out here and just, give away our quality seed, because that's you. Like you're literally knocking off years of your lifespan just by one release. And these are things that they don't teach us in school, right? They don't even teach us this in church. You feel what I'm saying? So when I started doing my own self-work and tapping into different teachers and research and stuff, this is how I was able to become victorious and conquer myself rather than be conquered. Because I've experienced some things. I've done a lot of things that was killing me. I have so much to offer while I'm here, while I'm experiencing this realm, while I'm experiencing this experience, while I'm in existence, right? I want to conquer myself and not be conquered by it, right? I don't want to be a sheep. I want to be a shepherd. So with that being said, man, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's episode 51. Mind power is God power. And we're gonna continue to kick these things off. I think I'm on the schedule now. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I want to come on and record live 5:55 p.m. So if you guys, are off of work, or if you need something to tune into to gain some knowledge, to gain some wisdom, some understanding with sound reason behind it, tap in, man. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm gonna be up here. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna record and bring some new information to y'all. Anybody that's looking to be a guest on the show and want to present to the people, your craft and things that you do, music artists, artists who paint, individuals who want to talk about like financial literacy, educators, what else? Photographers, cinematographers, dancers, like any and everybody that is in that creative space, like come on the platform, man. Come share your brand, come share your story, and come enlighten the world with all that you have to offer. Continue to tap in with me, man. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this link up here again. This is the link if you want to tap in with me personally. And we're going to go ahead and make something shake, man. I'm looking to collaborate and continue to, promote individuals who are looking to help themselves, but along that journey, help pull somebody else up. You feel me? Help pull somebody else up. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. This was an amazing, amazing, amazing show. And, until next time, man, remember someone has to see your greatness. Why not start with yourself? Stay blessed, always finesse. Definitely trust the Most High's process. The truest keys to success. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.